Many youth today suffer from unemployment. Even those who are already trained in the various institutions of higher training and so on cannot get jobs readily, simply because there is that skills gap, which is a major setback.
The main objective of Uganda, and the ministry in particular, is to build skills for Ugandans to be able to work. So the contribution that we're getting from E4D project that is run under the GIZ is very much aligned with our objective, as is training Ugandans.
The Employment and Skills for Development in Africa program is a regional program aimed at promoting employment and cooperation with the private sector. And we do this by addressing skills and capacity gaps that are identified by industry. We work in sectors like oil and gas, but also in the broader construction sector, transport and logistics, manufacturing, services, and food supply.
The skills Ugandans need in order to provide goods and services to the oil and gas sector don't have to be specifically in oil and gas.
We have a lot of work to do to prepare Ugandans for the industry, but we also have a lot of work to do to prepare them to work after the industry. If we don't prepare them with skills that can be used in other sectors, it may pose a challenge to employment.
We have not been having adequate attachment of our trainees to the industry. Ideally, the trainees are supposed to have at least 75% of their training on hands-on in the industry.
Enterprise training is really about helping the small businesses become more sustainable, become more efficient. And so our idea is to try and get them to be more formidable businesses over a short period of time, but also become businesses that can plug into the oil and gas sector when opportunities arise.
Initially, we didn't have toolbox talks for our staff to keep reminding ourselves about health and safety. Now we do it. We also do inductions for staff that are being recruited.
So the bid management project was first implemented in 2018. That was the first phase of the project. And it was based on key bottlenecks identified in the bidding process.
It was an intense course because of its nature, basically to be able to help us as multi-lines improve our bid conversion rates.
It is important for entry-level construction worker to have the following important key skills: work readiness skills, health and safety skills, teamwork, and lastly, the skills to work with different tools and equipment on the site.
I acquired skills in pipe fitting and the basic construction skills. I've got an international certificate from the training. So the international certificate is an added advantage for me.
The professional driver training project came up because many of the standards applied by the international transporters are higher than the national standard. And we wanted this project to have an impact and change that situation, to upskill Ugandan drivers to be able to compete for those jobs.
I'm now a perfect driver. My employers are very confident with me because they know that I'm a professional driver. And even if I go outside there with their goods, they know very well that their goods are safe.
So Ready to Work is an initiative that we run across Africa in the Barclays countries to support our youth to transition from the world of school to the world of work.
The Uganda Manufacturers Association has a membership of over 1,000 members, and most of these people or companies, they need skilled labor.
We are convinced that by gaining industry-relevant soft skills and work experience, young people can significantly increase their employability.
Before the training, I had no job. Yeah, I had nothing to rely on. But after training, I gained skills.
I'm confident these trainings will do a very great job.
We appreciate and look forward to continuing to create, long-lasting impact in our country.
Many youth today suffer from unemployment. Even those who are already trained in the various institutions of higher training and so on cannot get jobs readily, simply because there is that skills gap, which is a major setback.
The main objective of Uganda and the ministry in particular is to build skills for Ugandans to be able to work. So the contribution that we're getting from E4D project that is run under the GIZ is very much aligned with our objective, as is training Ugandans.
The Employment and Skills for Development in Africa program is a regional program aimed at promoting employment in cooperation with the private sector. And we do this by addressing skills and capacity gaps that are identified by industry. We work in sectors like oil and gas, but also in the broader construction sector, transport and logistics, manufacturing, services, and food supply.
The skills Ugandans need in order to provide goods and services to the oil and gas sector don't have to be specifically in oil and gas.
We have a lot of work to do to prepare Ugandans for the industry, but we also have a lot of work to do to prepare them to work after the industry. If we don't prepare them with skills that can be used in other sectors, it may pose a challenge to employment.
We have not been having adequate attachment of our trainees to the industry. Ideally, the trainees are supposed to have at least 75% of their training on hands-on in the industry.
So the enterprise training is really about helping the small businesses become more sustainable, become more efficient. And so our idea is to try and get them to be more formidable businesses over a short period of time, but also become businesses that can plug into the oil and gas sector when opportunities arise.
We didn't have toolbox talks for our staff to keep reminding ourselves about health and safety. Now we do it. We also do inductions for staff that are being recruited.
So the bid management project was first implemented in 2018. That was the first phase of the project. And it was based on key bottlenecks identified in the bidding process.
It was an intense course because of its nature, basically to be able to help us as multi-lines improve our bid.
We're doing very well with time. And thank you very much for the team. I'm going to request the team to come back up here so we can move on with the more technical gist of what we are up for today. Ladies and gentlemen on the online platform, thank you very much for making the attendance. We welcome all the questions, responses, any concerns, and you can make some brief introductions as you are on there. Tell us who you are, which entity you're representing. Share with us as much as you can on the Zoom platform. We are very glad to receive that. Please, I'm going to start with the smart compliance. Alex, please, I welcome you to come and take your seat. Our partners, implementers, GIZ, I think Christine, you'll get back as well to take your seat, right? And of course, our certification, independent certification body, UNBS Hajat Mariam, you can please as well take the seat on the extreme right. So ladies and gentlemen, we're now getting into the more technical part where we shall be able to explore what the project is all about. What does smart compliance and the partners have in stock for us? And on the team, we are joined by Mr. Vincent, lead consultant on the ISO certification program. He's going to be taking us through the whole scope, objectives, where we headed, what do we expect to have at the end of the day, and everything to do. Prepare your questions, prepare anything you want to know about this project, anything you want to know what's going to happen, please. He's the right man for this. He'll do his introduction, he'll tell you about himself. The media team, please, you can roll up the presentation as Vincent gets ready. Vincent, the floor is yours. You're welcome, please.
Thank you. Yes, good morning once again. So my names are Vincent Mukaya, the project team leader for this GIZ E4D. And I'm going to take you through the project overview on what to expect, what has already been done, and what is also going to be done after this engagement. So this is a project being implemented by GIZ Uganda for the Uganda program. And the project contractors Smart Compliance. So this E4D program, this is a program because it's multiple projects that are being done at different timelines. So it's a regional initiative that is focusing on the sub-Saharan Africa region. And of course, the main objective is to actually address the challenges that most organizations and also individuals working in those organizations face in terms of lack of relevant skills and also qualifications. So that's why we are talking about capacity building through this project. And you're going to help these organizations that have been selected to address some of these gaps or challenges that are being faced in the Ugandan sector for the businesses and also the government. The project, of course, as Michael earlier on presented, this is being implemented in 6 countries. So we have Ghana, we have Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, and South Africa. And for us, we'll be focusing specifically in the Ugandan program. It's funded by the German Federal Ministry of for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ. Then the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, the European Union, and also other co-financers for the GIZ program. The implementer, of course, GIZ, based in Germany. For the Ugandan program, we have GIZ Uganda team leading that. The contractors, of course, Smart Compliance Limited, based here in Uganda. as the project lead consultant, and we have Diverse Management Consultancy Limited, based in Kenya, as the project support consultant. This is being implemented as a joint venture of the two companies. Then the GSS, of course, focuses on 3 pillars, which Michael talked about earlier on. The first one is the skills development for all individuals who are being engaged in the Ugandan sector, business sector that is. And of course, with the focus on the upcoming oil and gas sector, where we intend to build the capacity in terms of the occupational health and safety management systems, which your organizations have been selected for. Then the other one is, of course, enterprise development. So implementation of ISO management systems in organizations is going to impact the way your organizations operate, the way your organizations do or conduct businesses within the Ugandan territory and also beyond. So enterprise development will be the post-project M&E activities that we'll be monitoring from time to time on all the organizations that have implemented these ISO management systems. And of course, what has been the impact on this ISO management system that has been implemented. So as the organization grown, has there been business impact positively, and any other development aspects for your organizations. Then also matching labor demand and supply, also for the oil and gas that is upcoming, with a focus on the upstream, because that's what is being developed in the Ugandan context. So we'll be looking at the local content, which most of you as organizations, you are playing an important role in providing either products, services, or supporting the processes, which is also the same approach that you're going to use when implementing these ISO management systems, which is the OHSMS. Then, of course, just for your information, this is a consultancy service for upgrading HSE practices and standards in selected Ugandan enterprises with the focus on the occupational health and safety management system. This is ISO 45001 2018 version. This is the current version. And actually, for your notes, this is the first ever standard being published and also developed by ISO itself. The initial standard was ISO 18001-2007. It was not an ISO standard. It was a best practice developed by the British Standards Institute. So it's a big honor for you to implement this standard because it's the first of a kind from ISO itself, focusing on the best practices within the workplace activities with a focus on the employees or the workers. The main objective of the project is, of course, to improve the economic situation of job seekers, employees, and also the organizations or enterprises in Uganda in cooperation with the private and also public sector. And of course, talking about partnership, we have the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Uganda, being a major partner with the E4D program since 2015. So this program or project has been running since 2015. And there were major activities in 2016 and also 2019, the same as what we are doing now. So in 2016, this was the lot 1 of the project, and it was also focusing on upgrading of HSE practices, that is health, safety, and also environment practices, where at least a total of 60 companies were selected to implement and also get certified to some of these practices. So that is lot 1 and lot 2, which are already accomplished. And now we're in lot 3. So yourselves, you're participating in the lot 3, which is 2021 to 2022 timeline. So project outcomes from the 2016 and 2019 activities that maybe some of you can also have an emphasis on to realize, even as you implement these best practices for occupational health and safety, what can you benefit from? For us, from our end as the contractors and also from GSZ's side, is to see that at the end of the project, we are adding value to you as an organization. And the focus will be in some of these activities. So there will be training that will be done. You're going to see some of the training courses that will be taken through. We'll also look at the coaching and mentoring, which is very key for you to understand what ISO is in terms of the 45001 2018 requirements, how you're going to implement them, how you're going to maintain, and also how you're going to get certified, and of course, improve the practices that you've put in place as an organization. And from that, what is the benefit? That is what our emphasis will be on. Certification will also be done independently by UNBS. They'll be having, they'll provide a short overview of the same after this presentation so that you can also understand what is the certification process, how will you be engaged, and what is expected from you as a participating organization. Then we'll also be looking at improved health, safety, and environmental standards at company level. So the previous organizations, of course, have realized this as a benefit. From this now ongoing project where you're participating in, how are you going to standardize the health and safety together with the environmental aspects, because they're interlinked? You can't do health and safety and neglect environmental aspects. As a matter of fact, actually, there is a separate project that is also ongoing for environmental, ISO 14001 2015. And you can see all these are really working together to improve all the HSE practices within the Ugandan business sector. So improvement is a key word there. It's an emphasis for this project. Then, of course, and this means that as existing organizations, of course, you have operations in place, you have processes that are existing, and you have a way that you've been operating. Now we are coming in to ensure that we understand how you've been operating and then align your organizational processes, activities, and also practices to this standardized approach. This is a global standard that is being used by any organization that has a workforce. And in most organizations, in most countries, sorry, you'll find a regulatory requirement of at least 12 and above, or at least 10 employees. You should have a standardized health and safety management system. And that's why actually we have the Ministry of Labor and Gender, and they'll also be providing value addition and also guidance in such approaches or regulatory frameworks. Then there'll also be increased work safety and well-being to more than 5,400 employees. This is a previous achievement. And also for you, you're going to see this as an outcome from the project activity. In the previous projects, Lot 1 and Lot 2, 678 people were brought into jobs. 80% of the firms who participated, of course, declared that now they are ready to participate in international, regional, and also local content type of business. And that's what we also want you to achieve from this project. Some of the potential benefits, remember ISO 45001-2018 is an employee-centric standard. It's an employee-centric standard. So all the employees that you have in your organization, from the top management, middle management, to the operational or functional level, will be very relevant to this standard. So the standard will be looking at both the health aspect and also the safety aspect at the workplace. So there'll be a reduction of workplace incidents. So whenever you have your employees being engaged in operational activities, of course, there can be incidents, there can be accidents, and there can be other occurrences within the organization, which could lead to injury or could lead to ill health. How are you going to reduce that? The keyword there is reduction. You can't eliminate because you have to work. But then again, how do you ensure that you have controls in place? That is the reduction of workplace incidents. Then we also have reduced absenteeism and staff turnover. Now, absenteeism is actually a challenge for most organizations when you don't have a proper health and safety management system in place. employees can get sick either due to work-related issues, and then of course they miss their work. So the ongoing presence within the organization. And if you are small organizations, for example, this can affect you in continuity. And of course, that affects your day-to-day operations. Staff turnover, we have the aspect of employee satisfaction and employee engagement within the organization. How do the employees perceive to be owning what they do from day to day within the organization? So the emphasis here is that as we implement this, engage all the employees within the organization, what we call in ISO, the process owners. We have the key process owners and we have the support process owners. How are all these being engaged and also involved in the implementation of this system? Because that is the starting point of building a good culture when it comes to health and safety practices. Then we have, of course, increasing the productivity and also staff morale due to having controls in place to manage such challenges. Then reduced cost of insurance premiums. Now, in most organizations, when you're implementing the ISO management systems, you'll find, for example, the top management or the supporters of the organization's existence asking what is the benefit if we are going to invest in the implementation of such practices. So that really becomes a hard task for the proponents of this implementation to convince the top management to have a buy-in of what the benefit realization will be in terms of tangible aspects. And that is where the cost comes in. So the more you reduce the cost of incidents, the cost of premiums, for example, that in turn can be converted to a benefit in the organization's financial health. Then you have creation of health and safety culture. I've talked about involvement. Involvement is key of all employees within the organization to ensure that you create a good culture. Trust me, without a good culture in the organization, implementing and also realizing the benefits of this occupational health and safety management system might be an uphill task if there is no good culture. And this culture is individual based. So as an organization, try to learn what your organization's culture is, and also try to mold every employee to actually align themselves with what the health and safety requirements are in the long term. And even as you engage new employees, for example, ensure that they align themselves with the culture of the organization. And culture is always led by the top management in any organization. So it has to start from there. Then, of course, reinforce leadership and commitment. This is now the provision of resources to ensure that these best practices are actually long-term. It's not a one-off thing, yeah? So, and we are seeing a lot of organizations, for example, now appreciating the uptake of ISO management systems because they are global. So if the organization wants to expand, for example, its territory, it's good to get the commitment, get the buy-in. And of course, you being here is already a sign of commitment from the organization's top leadership to actually improve the OHS. And we are looking at the proactiveness, meaning that you will be having proactive thinking, yeah? Risk, always think about risks, always think about controls before you do anything within your organization or before you provide any service or processes or products. That is the emphasis. Then ability to meet contractual, legal, and regulatory requirements. So of course, in any given territory, you have to really meet your compliance obligations. And this is also what ISO 45001-2018 is going to help you to achieve as you do your business. Then of course, enhanced reputation. Enhanced reputation really comes through after you've achieved all that, because the reputation can be built internally by your employees, and it can also be built externally by your company stakeholders. Now, our project is, it has been classified into 5 work packages. These are the activities that we'll be engaging you in. The first one, work package number 1, is a selection criteria of beneficiary enterprises, which has already been done, and that's why you are here. Then the work package 2 is to conduct preliminary audit of enterprises, which we've already conducted. And this was to basically understand your current setup, your current structure, your current context as organizations, because it's important to understand the context of your organizations, because you come from various sectors and you're providing various services, products, and also processes to within the Ugandan sector or even beyond. How do we understand your organization first and then forge ahead to implement the best practices? So we've already done this, and we will be engaging the companies that have been audited in this actually assessment. It's basically an assessment to deal with those areas that have been identified to be of interest to improve the best practices that we are focusing on. Work package number 3 is delivery of training. So this is the launch of this project. And of course, starting from tomorrow, we are going to kick off the training courses. So I'm going to list the courses shortly that every representative of the organization will be taken through in order to prepare for the implementation phase, which is basically work package number 4, coaching and mentorship. So this is where we'll hold your hand as an organization, lead you through the implementation process of this ISO management requirements for 45001. And in there, of course, we'll help you to put the documentation in place, align your processes. Someone talked about processes during the introduction. That's a very key emphasis. Align them to the standard requirements, and also assess thereafter that indeed you've done a good job. It's as per the standard requirements, and now you are ready for certification, which is an independent exercise. And that is work package number 5. So smart compliance will be leading from work package number 1 up to work package number 4. And then work package number 5 will be done by UNBS independently, because they'll be checking what we've done together with you as organizations as per the standard requirements. Then the team structure, we have the project key team led by myself, project team leader, Vincent Mokaya. We have Ronald Bete, HSC consultant. We have Dennis Mwanga, HSC consultant. Alan Kibaya, HSC consultant. Didan Maniriho, Hope Atwine, Christine Kemirembe, and Ivan Waiswa as part of the project team that I'm leading. And so far, of course, we've been doing a good job that we've delivered as per the project expectations. Then, of course, the team structure that is supporting, that is ensuring all this is being done successfully and smoothly with your engagements, is the project management office led by Francis Bale. And then also we have Alex Tukashungurwa, project support, the MD of Smart Compliance. Then we have Stella Naloga, project admin, and also Rita Kalinda as a project admin. So this is the team that is ensuring that whatever you may need, whatever support you need, all the project activities, all of them are being done smoothly as scheduled. And of course, you can always feel free to reach out whenever you have any challenge. Now, the project activities and of course the timelines you're looking at, this is an 8-month project that kicked off on 18th October 2021 this year. And of course, you're looking forward to finish this around June 30th, 2022, which is next year. So that's a span of 8 to 9 months that you're looking at. So this is a fast-tracked project, and we expect you to continually commit yourself in terms of availability, support, and also provision of information as we continue to engage ourselves towards the successful implementation of this management system. Now, the project's timelines, of course, we have the green 3 boxes there that have already been accomplished. Project kickoff meeting done on 19th October this year. Company pre-selection done between 21st and 16th November. And then, of course, our baseline gap assessment, which we've already done in this month between 12th and 24th. Now, the training is going to commence tomorrow and it will run through 17th December. So, and this is going to be done in a group of 3 cohorts of 20 representatives each, running concurrent. So we expect this to enable us to finish the training smoothly. We have the pending ones, which is a training report to be done post the training. Then we also have the first group discussion, which we'll have with all the representatives of the companies to discuss what were the lessons learned from the training, what are the areas that you would want to be sorted maybe in future projects or even in the coaching and mentorship engagements. That will be the first group discussion. And we've indicated there to be around 4th January. This will depend on availability. It's subject to discussion, also through GIZ approval. Then the first round table with all stakeholders, part of you are here. Also 4th January, also to be approved after ascertaining availability. Then we'll also have a key milestone for our project, midterm project report, which will be done around January, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd week, to be reviewed and also approved by GIZ. This will essentially provide the progress and also the activities that have been done, what has been achieved, any lessons learned, and any opportunities for improvement, because this is a project. Then after that, we'll have the coaching and mentorship together with the implementation of this standard in your organization, running between 19th January and also 24th March 2022. This will be after the training. So after the training, we expect that most of you will be at least having general knowledge on how to implement this standard. And we'll be there to support you, to guide you, to mentor you, because the knowledge has to be transferred, knowledge has to be shared, and knowledge has to be utilized. Yeah, knowledge utilization and also retention within your organization. So basically capacity building. Then after that, we'll also have a second round table, which will be around 25th March next year. Then after that, now that will still be for the stakeholders. We have the main stakeholders or key stakeholders together with others that will also engage in these projects to appreciate what has been done and what can be done. Then, of course, after that, we'll have the UNBS coming in for an independent initial certification, because for most of you, this will be the first time you're going to be certified. And our colleague here will talk about the UNBS activities that they lead you on. And this will be around April 1st April to 24th May. And it will be the tail end activity for our project, after which a project final report will be provided covering all these activities. Of course, to provide a summary of what has been achieved and any areas of concern that may require address for GIZ to review and also approve. And that will be the end of the project. But of course, this will not be the end of the program, because we are expected to do post project implementation monitoring and evaluation. Basically what Michael was emphasizing on, because we have to ascertain what has been the impact, because for us, you're coming in to add value to your organizations as you implement these ISO management systems. What is the value that your organization has realized? That will be after the project final report, post M&E activities. And that will run through the entire certification cycle, which UNBS will talk about shortly. So from time to time, we'll be engaging you, collect some data, create some information for GIZ to also understand this is how the project has been successful, and this is how the organizations have actually realized some of the values, some of the benefits, and also these are some of the opportunities that have been determined from this project. That will be of essential, because it will also determine whether this can be done for others within the country. Some of the training courses that we are looking at, the first one is what we are doing now, basically to raise awareness, and also give you an overview of what the GIZ E4D program is all about and how you're expected to participate in. Then the second one, which you're going to start tomorrow, is awareness training. This will be a basic overview of the standard requirements for you to understand what is this ISO 45001, what is this 2018, what does it entail, what are the requirements, how do we implement them, and of course, what is expected if we are to get certified. Then of course, the second one will be the foundation. So a build up of the awareness. So awareness will be for 1 day. Foundation will be a little bit detailed from the awareness for 2 days. And then after that, we'll have a high field level 2 award in risk assessment training for 1 day. So remember, proactiveness is very key. So you have to understand how to assess risks. And remember, we are talking about ISO 45001, occupational health and safety. So we don't forget hazards. So before risk, there is always hazards. How are those being managed within your organization? So we'll be transferring knowledge through that. Then of course, high field level 2 award in health and safety in the workplace, also a 1 day training. And then of course, we'll have now an advanced level, which is the ISO 45001 2018 lead implementer for 4 days. This is the training that will be now empowering you as a frontliner in the implementation of this standard within your organization. So after doing the awareness, the foundation, risk assessment, health and safety, now the empowerment will come in under lead implementer. For now, for you to be the key process owner of the implementation of this standard within your organization. That's why you are representing the organization. Then after that, we'll have a specific training for the internal auditors, because this is an expectation even from UNBS as a requirement of the standard. You have to keep in check the implementers. So ISO 19011-2018 will be focusing on how to audit the occupational health and safety management system as a good practice to continually identify opportunities for improvement, because the improvement aspect is essential in any organization. That is the presentation we had, and I hope you've got some of the information that you are looking forward to. And I appreciate for your attentiveness, and also give an appreciation to the panel also. And that is it from my side. We'll have a Q&A later on, maybe after the UNBS. Yeah, back to you, MC.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a mouthful of information, quite a large bunch. A round of applause for Vincent for the sharing, please. So yes, later on, there's a lot to digest and a lot to find out what exactly is in there. But we're going to have a Q&A later on, where we shall go to explore exactly everything, and you ask your questions. You'll be able to, anything that has been left untouched, you can please prepare that. So once we dive into that, you'll be able to ask. Next, I'm going to have, we shall have also another elaborate now sharing. I think that is work package 4 from UNBS, I think 5, yes, work package 5. So UNBS is going to be able to present to us as well, to give us the details of what they are going to do, what is in stock with them, represented by Mr. Lawrence, right? Hope I'm right on that. Sorry? Okay, Hajat Maria Naroga is going to introduce that, and we shall come up with a presentation. You're very welcome.
Come closer. Good morning to you all. My name is Mariam Nalwoga from Uganda National Bureau of Standards. I head the Management Systems and Certification Division in UNBS. As UNBS, we are very delighted to be here, and we would like to thank GIZ and also Smart Compliance for having chosen to take us as the certification body. And we would like to assure you that we have the competence, we have the mandate to do the certification, And we would like to congratulate all the companies that are here for having taken interest to implement ISO standards, beginning with 45001, as Vincent has mentioned. UNBS is a member of ISO, and it's the national representative of UNBS represents Uganda at ISO. So we develop standards on behalf of Uganda, and we have all the standards that you may need, including standards specific to oil and gas sector. So we are really delighted to be here, and we hope that all the companies that are here will be able to go through up to the certification process. And I would like Lawrence to come and take you through the details of the certification process. We have distributed our brochures for the certification process, and we have also given you some brochures, general brochures on ISO standards and how they can benefit you in your individual organizations. So Lawrence, please take us through the detailed certification process. Thank you.
Good morning, once again. Thank you, Mariam, for that brief and presentation. I'm Lawrence Muganga. I work with UNBS under the Management Systems and Services Division. Basically, here we are looking at certification for the different management system, as you're going to indicate in this presentation. As Mariam has presented, we are UNBS under the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Looking at our mandate, we look at dealing with standards from the process of standard development through implementation and enforcement. That makes us very important in this process, in this project. We offer quite a number of management systems. These include ISO 9001 for the quality management systems, ISO 14001 for the environment management, ISO 45001 for the occupational health and safety management systems. We have also gone into the security operations, ISO 18788, and also the energy management systems, among others. Talking about the process of certification, as the previous presenters indicated, we come in at point number 5, independently as a certification body to offer our certification services. And going very fast to the processes that will be relevant, we start from the application stage. At this point, we shall share the application documents with smart compliance, but also for the different companies that may want to get it directly from us. We have them on our website, but also upon request, we shall be able to give copies on email or even hard copies. So you will be filling in these applications and then share the field copies with us. In these applications, we basically look at the company information to give us information about your company, to know what you do, your scope of work, how big your enterprise is. This information helps us in our planning processes to know the competences that we shall need for your specific company, to know the amount of time and for different other plannings that may be necessary. So during the application still, we ask for quite a number of documents that are necessary to show us that you have been implementing the system. And also where necessary, we request for further information to have a complete submission. When we receive an application, we go into the initial audit activities. We break this down into stage 1 and stage 2. Basically, stage 1 activities or audit, we do a document review of your submission. There's a standard ISO 45001 that is drafted in a general language. Now, as a company, you develop your system to meet the requirements of ISO 45001. So we come and first assess your documented system to see whether it meets the requirements of ISO 45001. Because as an implementer, you're going to implement your developed system. That will be with the guidance of smart compliance. Where we find that you have not properly aligned the system with ISO 45000, then we bring it to your awareness to close it out or find a way to put up a way to meet this particular requirement. So at this point, we're only looking at your documented process and how you have planned to meet ISO 45001 requirements. From there, we go into stage 2. Stage 2, you're looking at the implementation. We come and assess the way you conduct activities. Firstly, in line with ISO 45001. We also look at how you conduct your activities in line with your documented process to meet the different requirements of ISO 45001. Here we deploy quite a number of methodologies. We interact with your personnel to have their understanding of this system. We do your document review and records to see how you have been monitoring for areas that you had identified that need to be monitored, how you identify your hazards, how your contractor activities affect your processes, and the controls that you have put in place to curb those hazards and risks from the different activities. So that is stage 2. At this stage, in case we find any gap, we classify it as a non-conformity. But we allow you time. It doesn't mean that you can't be certified. We give you time to close out this non-conformity. That is usually 21 working days, but you can always request for more time, put it in writing for consideration. Upon satisfactory closure of the different gaps that are found in the system where available, the auditors provide their submission to an independent review committee. This is called a certification review committee. It's responsible for the review of the file from the time of application to the time when the audit is finished and all the submissions necessary. Basically, you want to see that auditors conducted their work in an independent manner. They were very impartial in the way they conducted their audits, and all the different areas of the ISO 45001 have been properly met. So the certification review committee is independent of the certification department that is responsible for the certification activities. Therefore, they give their independent opinion, which the executive director bases on to grant or defer certification. The defer shouldn't scare you. We defer with justification, and all you have to do is to resolve that issue or the justification stated, so as your company can be granted certification. So that is a copy of the certificate. It will look close to that. That is just a draft. This certificate is valid for 3 years from the time it's issued. And during this time of certification, we want to see that you're still maintaining a certifiable system. We don't want to give you the certificate and the next day you deviate from the requirements of ISO 45001. Therefore, that's the essence of the surveillance audit. And for every year, we conduct one surveillance audit. This can be 2 or 3 surveillance audits throughout the 3-year cycle. Towards the end of the certification, we request you to always apply for renewal of this certification and to allow you to continually improve your system. Why UNBS? The advantages of working with us. First of all, we are a government body, so you have guarantee that we shall always be there. Secondly, we have competent auditors. We have a pool of auditors that are certificated with the Chartered Quality Institute, and also some that are registered with Kenya Bureau of Standards. We are committed to continual improvement within your work. Our focus is not on money. We are not a money-making agents. So even where you have to make payments, it's at a subsidized cost. I think for this time, it will be met by smart compliance. So the cost bit shouldn't scare you. Thank you for your time and for listening in.
Please, a little bit more than that, a little bit more than that. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Okay, I think you can. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it, I think all, not nearly all, but all. Key takeaways, the UNBS is committed to continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is a key, is a core principle of the ISO's 9001 quality management systems. And this is the very reason why you go on to have the rest brought up onto you. Okay, so now that we have all the technical information and all the detail of the project, there are quite a number of things that might have come up about the audit processes, the stages of certification, the duration of the program and how it happens. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know, what are your concerns? Where do you think you've not been able to grasp all the detail? So the floor is now open. We have Mr. Alex Tukachungura for Smart Compliance right here, the lead trainers. We have Christine from the E4D program, the coordinator. We have Vincent on the project implementation lead. And we have Hajid Mariam from UNBS, the independent certification body. All your questions can be addressed, please. So I think we shall have a microphone go around, and as we did before, let me try to secure one, and then we can go on with all our inquiries from, I believe there are quite a number of entities in the house. Media, please, could you give me one free microphone? Thank you very much. Yes, the African way of testing it. So, by show of hand, you can just put up if you have a query, and I'll move the microphone right to where you are. Where do we start from? Yes, please. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Pancras Kakuru, Head of Finance, Achilis Uganda Limited. Just need confirmation. Smart compliance, we shall work with you up to stage 4. When we come to stage 5, you see, from what you have said, you seem to be rating it to be in UNBS part. Are you going to be with us in that stage 5, or you will just let us be around with UNBS? Because having previous first UNBS, I know they may be a bit tricky in terms of requirements. What do they need? I would want smart compliance to walk us this journey up to stage 5. Then maybe the last question, which I would need to get from UNBS, do you have jurisdiction over the Ugandan entity? Can I get this certification from any other international body, apart from you, this may be not related to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question is very well noted. I think it's a twofold inquiry. We have our next.
Yes, thank you very much. This is Yora Matamize. Unfortunately, I came in a little bit late. I have two questions. They are not directed to anyone. Uganda being one of the corrupt countries, and at this stage, dealing with UNBS, which is one of the government entities, where I think it is not, free from corruption. I don't know how we shall handle this as the entities in this, because I'm worried that at the time of certification, they may come in and you find they are asking for huge sums of money, which we may not be able to part with. And at the end of the day, you find we are denied the certification. Smart compliance, how shall you help us on that so that we are free from this vice that is eating up our country? The second one is, after the issuance of certificate after 3 years, what will happen? And what are the requirements for the renewal? Thank you.
Thank you, Yoram. Very bold addressing the elephant in the, not in the room, in the globe. But yes, your fears will be well allayed. The UNBS team is very ready. Smart compliance. Please, next. Any more questions?
Good morning, everyone, once again. My question goes to smart compliance. I saw Vicenti's presentation. He talked of we shall be having 5 days of lead implementer training and 2 days of internal auditors training. Will the participants get any certificates for those trainings? Because I see, to me, they seem to be the most important. Will the participants get any certificates for those 2 trainings?
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, you didn't state your name or the entity, unless you'd like that to remain.
I'm Emma Luchamzi from Leamington Engineering.
Thank you. Yes, we go on. Or we could take those 3, perhaps, and they get responded to. I think they're about 5 in the 4. Then once we get those out of the way, we can go on to all the rest. We shall come back to the floor. Is that agreed? Okay, so I think the first question went to smart compliance, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Martin. The first question for smart compliance was it was about the coordinating after stage 4 before we can before UNBS comes in at stage 5. The question was, will smart compliance have been done there? And the answer is no. We shall take part in the coordination because we are your handlers, but we are not the certifiers. So we shall coordinate only the communication with UNBS, okay? Yeah, and that's why we're adding that word independent certifying body. Smart compliance will not take part in the certification. We shall only liaise the participants with UNBS, okay? So even during the certification process, smart compliance will help in the communication, but will not take part in the certification. I think that was the concern. Then the other question that was for smart compliance was regarding the fees. This is a fully funded project, and the fees for certification have already been covered. Okay, so with that question I think it was from the second participant who asked about the possibility of someone asking for bribes or asking for something on the side. So this is a fully funded program. Yeah, so that issue should not arise. Either way, I don't see it arising. Thank you.
I think, thank you very much, Alex. I think there was another question directed to UNBS. Hajat Mariam.
Yes, I have the questions. Thank you very much for the questions. I think I liked the questions that were brought on board because it really shows that we probably have a misunderstanding of who UNBS is. UNBS is a statutory body that is mandated to develop standards and enforce standards. So in that, we have two roles. We have the carrot and we have the stick. So in terms of standards development, we are promoting trade. We are more or less trying to see that all the Ugandan companies and Ugandan manufacturers, Ugandan businesses have a leveled playing ground to do their businesses using standards. So, and we are doing our best to harmonize the standards so that whether you are trading with the ESC or internationally, you're meeting the requirements of the relevant standards, be it service standards, be it product standards. So in that, we have the standards development department, we have the standards promotion departments, and we have the standards enforcement departments. So what you used to see about us was mainly the standards enforcement, whereby manufacturers especially are not meeting requirements of the standards for which they have been certified to, or they have not been certified to. And our surveillance department enforces the standards in a way that they would have to close them up if they do not cooperate in regards to showing commitment to meeting the standard requirements. Now, in certification, we are doing trade promotion. We are more or less promoting trade. We are not using the carrot, the stick. We are using the carrot in such a way that we move with you. Our smart compliance is going to do the training, implementation, support that they are going to offer to you. And we believe that by the time smart compliance lays their hands off you, you are ready to meet the certification requirements. So we really implore you to take the trainings seriously, to ask as much as you can from smart compliance. Don't let them go when you are not sure that you understand ISO 45001 and how to implement its requirements. Don't let them go. Because for sure, when it comes to certification, you will be dealing with UNBS. And UNBS, which will be a promotional, which is promotional and will be with you. The moment you apply to UNBS certification, we become partners, business partners. So we benefit as a country when you get certification. We benefit when you get more revenue. We benefit when you get more markets. And when we see that your business is running smoothly and you're able to meet international markets. So please do not look at UNBS as a lion in the room that is going to sabotage your process of getting ISO 45001 certification, and therefore the contracts and bids that you want to attain with the certification. I would like to assure you that we will support you to get the certification. And in fact, during our audits, we are adding value. We do not come and ask, for example, if we ask about internal audits, how did you conduct the internal audits? What is the competence of your internal auditors? We will not ask in a way that we are looking for faults. No, we are auditing to see how far your organization is meeting requirements of ISO 45001. And where you're not meeting the requirements, we explain to you what exactly is missing. And we will not want to go into how you can close the gap, because then that will be consultancy. But I am sure that once we raise non-conformities, smart compliance will still be there to support you on how to close the gaps. And during our audits, we will only guide you on what is missing, how it, not necessarily how you can do it to close it, but after you have suggested corrective actions, we will review the corrective actions with you and see that you actually attain your certification. From experience, we have not really had any applicants coming to us for any other management system, and then they fail to attain certification. There was an issue of corruption, which is totally unacceptable with UNBS. We have not seen it happen in management system certification. We have not received any complaints, and I'm sure you haven't received any as well. Our auditors are competent and impartial, and they don't engage in such practices. So please do not worry. When you come to UNBS, rest at heart, be sure that you are getting the best, and be sure that we are Ugandans like you. We wouldn't want to, we are not certifying you for money, for your money, no. And if you look around the certification bodies, you'll see that our rates are really subsidized, government subsidized, to see that we promote trades as much as possible. So please don't worry about the cost, don't worry about the corruption, don't worry about not getting certified. You will all be certified. There was another question about
I think so. For those that I saw, the only I was trying to pick up what is happening online.
There's just one more. Can I get certification from anyone else other than UNBS? Of course you can, but it will be at your own loss, because for us as UNBS, we are accredited internationally, and we are extending our scope of accreditation to cover ISO 45001. So being able to offer international certification at a very subsidized rate, I can tell you the cheapest that would be around 6.5 million. That is the smallest company attaining ISO certification. That's the cheapest, which you'll not get anywhere else. So it will be at your own loss not to choose UNBS as a certification body, but you are free to get any other certification. However, in this particular project, you're all privileged to get certification from UNBS, and you will attest to the fact that we will treat you very comfortably. Thank you.
Okay, there we have it. So there was another question. I think it was directed towards smart compliance and the project consultant about the time and the certificates, then what happens after. Vincent, could you take on that?
Yeah, thank you very much. The question from the second participant on the post-certification activities and process. Now, this project is running for the 3-year cycle through UNBS certification, and that is what has already been catered for through GIZ project. Now, post that, of course, the organizations now will have the liberty to maintain, to recertify, or even to decide otherwise regarding the certification. But we encourage you that as you build your capacity within this 3-year cycle, at least the benefits that you would have realized through your business growth, through your employee retention, through internal capacity building, it will enable you to definitely maintain and continually maintain the certification within your organizations, even post the project. Yeah, because the project is covering up to the 3-year cycle, which is a good thing, really. It's a great benefit for your organizations. And in between, in our M&E activities, we'll also try to look at the impact and also the benefits or the realization of benefits that you would have achieved and how that can help you to make a proper decision post the project, yeah, which is after the 3-year cycle. And of course, the process will be the same. Our colleague from UNBS took you through the initial certification, stage 1, stage 2. Now, when it comes to when you're already certified, of course, you'll still make an application form through your certification body of choice. If it's UNBS, the process will be the same. You'll be given the proposition, value proposition for that certification. And then definitely that will be a recertification, which is different from initial certification. So recertification will focus on how you've achieved or improved your system through the 3-year cycle. And of course, a decision can be made on whether you can be recertified or not. And we don't really expect any of you to drop off from the certification process, because it adds value as long as you have the interest to implement it so as to realize the standardization of your processes and how to impact the services or processes or products you provide. Then the other question from Levington Engineering regarding certificates. Every trainee will receive a certificate as an attestation that indeed you've participated in these trainings. But of course, our emphasis will be on the knowledge acquisition itself, which will be assessed by UNBS. Also, as part of the project, Smart Compliance will also do an assessment before UNBS comes to your organizations to ascertain that from the training, at least you're practicing what you learned. That is some of the impacts that we'll be looking at besides the certification. But everyone will get a certification for their records and also to attest to the likes of UNBS and any other organization that indeed this was done and these were the participants. Yeah. And it's also a requirement actually in the ISO certification process. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Vincent. This is well put. No better way to put that. I realize online we have a few queries that are coming up. I think we need to really put together emphasis on separating the two, the certification, the independent certification body, and the training. Mr. Bossa Henry online was trying to emphasize the importance of only having one entity take it on. So I think, I don't know if it's from Smart Compliance or from UNBS that can help us to differentiate the two, because in ISOs, you cannot develop and again audit your own systems. So I think, Alex, you can help us, or Vincent, to make it clear that a training body cannot be the same as the certifying body, so that the audience gets it clearly that it cannot be only one entity, and the two entities in question now, UNBS and Smart Compliance, need to work complementary to each other. Alex or Vincent, you can be able to differentiate that for us clearly.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very good question. In our presentation, just that we didn't want to go into details because of this forum, but we have to understand where ISO starts from. ISO itself is an organization based in Geneva, Switzerland. Its function is only to develop and publish ISO standards, where UNBS plays a role at country level, representing Uganda. Besides ISO itself actually as an organization, together with its members, including UNBS, do not do consultancy, or they do not help organizations implement the systems. And that's where the likes of Smart Compliance comes in, to help organizations understand the standards, understand the best practices, the systems, and how to implement them. Then we have what we call schemes. So there's a certification scheme that guides on how certification can be done independently from consultancy. And that is the ISO IEC 17021, Part 1, 2015. Management Systems Certification Scheme that is provided by the International Accreditation Forum. This is an independent body also that oversees the entire certification process for organizations based on these ISO standards. So ISO itself publishes the standards, but now certification is also overseen by another organization, which is International Accreditation Forum. So that scheme provides the requirements, and this independence that we are really emphasizing on is provided there, that UNBS, for example, has to observe when they are doing a certification audit, be it an initial audit, be it a recertification audit, or even a surveillance audit. So UNBS is guided by that scheme, ISO IEC 17021, Part 1, 2015, on how to maintain the independence. For consultancy, that one is it's freelance, because you get any organization that has the capacity to help you implement. You can even do it internally as an organization. For example, assume Smart Compliance was not there. You can implement the system on your own, as long as the certification will be done independently. Yeah, so I hope that is clear. Yeah, thank you.
Best, well put. Any additions? Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Vincent. He really put it very well. That even when UNBS is conducting the certification, we follow a particular standard, which is the ISO IEC 17021, requirements for bodies providing audit and certification services. So we are also audited in how we provide the certification service. So the issue of corruption, the issue of consulting while at the same time certifying does not apply. There is a requirement of impartiality, where the certification body has to declare impartiality and also ensure that there are any pressures or any conflicts of interest that affect the certification. So the certification really has to be independent. However, what will not be independent is your internal audit system, which will be developed by Smart Compliance. They will help you, they will train you how to develop internal audit competencies so that within your organization, you're able to audit your own system even before a third party comes to audit your system. Fortunately, Smart Compliance will audit you before you're handed over to UNBS. So for me, I'm pretty confident that all the companies, organizations that will be serious and will take it with a lot of interest will definitely succeed through the certification process and also go through the renewal of certification process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is where it gets interesting. You cannot develop and implement and audit at the same time, which is very good, more than dual controls. So all the inquiries and fears in regards to double standards, corruption are all taken care of. Online, we still have inquiries. There's one, Eric from Strategic Builders. Excuse me. So his inquiries on, they're already implementing other standards. In this, I think he means maybe 14001 or 9001. So I would like to know, can they be able to integrate these other standards they're implementing together with this? If they've been able to get this standard also done, can they be able to integrate with the others? I don't know how to, you can be able to address that. Vincent?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Eric. Yes, as we implement this ISO 45001-2018, ISO itself as an organization now did a review of the standards in 2015. We had the quality management system, which is the backbone of all standards, that was revised to incorporate the high-level structure. So all standards that have been developed and published since 2015, post quality management system publication, are following the high-level structure, which means it's easier for you as an organization to integrate more than one ISO management system at a go in your organization. So yes, it's possible. You can implement, you don't have any limits in the implementation of these ISO management systems, as long as you identify the need to have that standard. And of course, how to realize the benefit, you can definitely integrate. And as we do this, in some of these organizations that you're going to engage, some of them already have ongoing implementation of other standards. We are definitely going to implement. No ISO standard should be implemented parallel or as a single standard. Integration is the best to ensure that you have a streamlined process, streamlined system that works for you. ISO standards are coming into your organization to simplify the way you do your business. We are not going to complicate how you do your business. It's the simplicity. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Vincent. I think our time is well spent, and this is getting interesting. So I'll come back to the floor to collect more inquiries. I realize we have a number of participants in the room. Allow me to briefly just go through Blow Plus Limited, Blue Pearl, Inside Holdings Limited, to Cole, Rock Investments, BMP Engineering, Crystal Ice, we have GTech, Mac Engineering, Brookfield, Cambridge Health, a number of you. Please come on if you have your inquiries, and you'll be listened to. Yes, please. I'm hidden. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Just to add, just want to add something small onto the last question of integration. As part of our project implementation, what we're going to do if we come, for example, if you are a participant for this project and you have already quality management systems, during the coaching and mentorship and documentation, we, as Vincent has said, we are not supposed to leave you with separate documentation for ISO 45001, filed separately for documentation of the quality management systems. What we shall do is we shall ensure that the documentation is integrated, and when UNBS comes, they will only audit out the component of 45001, okay? Even when the documentation is combined. Previously, you find it has been a problem from the previous years, where you find an organization has documentation for environment management systems. They have separate files for this. So this is one of the benefits that we're going to bring on board. Okay, so if you already have a running management system, this at the end of this project, you should have an integrated documentation. Now, when UNBS comes, they will only audit out the component of ISO 45001. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. So, of all the entities in the room, I believe you're very eager to be part of this. Please, if there's any areas you're not so conversant with already, please put in your inquiries. Can we have some more inquiries from the floor? I think we have a microphone down there. By just a show of hand, and your microphone will be brought right to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm Pauline from Rock Investment. So my concern is in relation to the last question that was forwarded by Eric, I think via Zoom. So I'm from Rock Investment and I'm responsible for implementing these management systems. So we already certified for QMS and EMS, but by NEMCO and not UNBS. So my concern is when we integrate these three systems, who is then going to be doing the surveillance and all the other activities? Because these are two different certification bodies. That's NEMCO and then UNBS.
Okay, thank you for this. Vincent, you're taking that?
Okay. Thank you for your question. You will be very privileged to try UNBS certification. So what will happen is that you will continue with NEMCO if you wish to do so. But for smart compliance and E4D project, you will get your certification from UNBS because your cost has already been covered. And surveillance will be carried out by UNBS for 45,001. And for the other standards, your CD will continue to do the surveillances. But we would encourage you to transfer your certification to UNBS to make life easier and much costly for you to have your one CD doing the certification. But in the meantime, you can keep them separate and compare notes and just take a decision by yourself and see which CD serves you better and adds more value to your organization. Thank you.
All right. Please, any more inquiries, you can keep them coming in. From the online platform, we haven't, there's a gentleman who has just posted, I don't know if it's an inquiry, it just says IMS, I presume that should be integrated management system. He says IMS, thank you. I don't know what that could indicate, but anyways, so as we go ahead, I believe this is key to understand that before the participants get introduced to the 1400-1-2018, they'll be of course taken through the basics of standards, just for those who are not yet to any standard, because we believe we understand that the basic is 9001. So just to create understanding, I know people will hear of the 17001, 22001, 20000. Vincent, just give us the basic that maybe that understanding how the introduction will be, and people shouldn't be alarmed by all these numbers being thrown around. Just a quick of how they'll get to learn the basics, then later on go to 45.
Okay, thank you very much. And just to add on what has been said for the last question, actually you have the option of transferring your certification from one certification body to another during a surveillance audit, or even just before certification audit. You have that option as long as you get a transfer acceptance letter from your initial certification body to give to your new certification body. For example, from NEMCO to UNBS. Yeah, you can do that at any given stage. Yeah. Just to give an overview of the standards. In the training, we'll introduce you to what ISO stands for. So we've been talking about the numbers, even for you to understand why 45001. Is that a code? Is it a number? And how is it developed about from ISO? You'll understand ISO as an organization. You'll understand the importance of the standards in your organization. You'll understand how these ISO standards are contributing more so to the current talk in town, the UN SDGs, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which were initially the Millennium Development Goals. Every ISO standard that is developed, including this 45001, is linked to a specific UN SDG that you also have to align yourself with. So we'll understand the ISO standards and how to implement them. So the ISO standards as requirements provide you with the what to implement. And then us as the Smart Compliance Limited, we are coming in to help you on the how to implement, how to practice, and how to improve your organization's processes, practices, and also the structures. And the way you're going to do this is that we'll approach it based on the best standard, best organizational structure. At the strategic level, looking at the governance, we'll also look at the management level and also operational or functional level. How you build a culture, how you build ownership, how you improve your practices, and how you ensure that there is an impact, positive impact in the services or products that you provide to your interested parties. With a risk-based thinking, proactiveness. Yeah, proactiveness. So we'll understand all that. We'll understand we have the Ministry of Labor, for example. How does the International Labour Organization play a role in the development and also implementation of this ISO 45001? We'll also understand the role that the likes of the UN network, World Bank, the World Trade Organization, all those, how are they impacting the implementation of such practices? So remember, our project is enhancing the HSE practices within Uganda. So we'll understand all that and then have it in the context of Uganda as a country. And of course, the role that you're playing as key stakeholders. Yeah, so of course, all along the training, you'll be free to engage, to interact, and at the end of it, you'll have learned something that can be beneficial to your individual companies and also to you as an individual. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, this has been well put, and I believe we are satisfied and all our concerns have been well taken care of. So I think we're getting towards the end of this and the start of the new journey. And every finish line is our beginning of the new year. So I think at this point, I would like to call upon Christine to make any final remarks in a presentation to the E40 program. Is there any other inquiry? Just one? There's a hand. Oh, okay. Let's have it in the audience. Yes. Is there a microphone? Yes. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Tadi Akelo from Strategic Builders Uganda Limited. My question is, when I start implementing this system and then I get a bid and I would like a support document showing my process and how far I've come through this journey, do I qualify for a recommendation letter from Smart Compliance?
Okay, thank you, Toby. Alex, you take that? Would you like to take that, Vincent or Alex? Yes. She was asking if she has a bid or something like that, and she needs something to prove that she went through the process. She has the procedures ready. Is she able to receive something as proof from Smart Compliance?
All right, thanks for that question. Once the consultancy is done and once the certification is done, of course, you will not need Smart Compliance anymore. Okay, at that point on, you can use your certificate. But hoping I got the question right, if the process is still ongoing and, for example, you're placing a bid, can you get a recommendation from Smart Compliance? The answer is usually when these bid documents are being submitted, the questions are simple. It's a simple yes or no. So if the question is asking, are you ISO certified? If the process is ongoing, of course you can, it's a no, but you can put a comment ongoing. And if you need to do any proof, for example, you can attach the reports that indicate how the process is going. Okay. For example, you can put any internal audits or any reports of the process that is ongoing. Okay. But as Smart Compliance, we're purely consultants. Okay. So we cannot speak on the other side. Okay. Either way, when our consultancy is done, that's when the certification body comes in, and it's the certification body that has to approve that you're meeting the requirements of the standard. So as Smart Compliance, I don't see us producing that later. Yeah.
Thank you for that question. Actually, quite a number of our clients come to UNBS at the time when they are bidding, and they've been asked for an ISO certification proof. So by the time they come, they have only 2 weeks to the deadline to submit the bid documents. So at that time, we cannot do anything for such a client, especially when they have just applied and we have not been to their site. But assuming that you're submitting your bid at the time when you are in the certification process, then we have a procedure to support our clients in that regard. We usually issue those recommendation letters, but at the point when we have finished the stage 1 audit. Because at that point, we have seen your site, we have seen how far you're intending to meet the requirements of the standard, and sometimes we have seen the level of commitment and level of implementation that you are at. So at that time, we are able to issue a recommendation letter, and majority of our clients have been successful with that. Thank you.
Okay. There's one more, please.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, please. Right here.
Hello. Yeah. I'm Francis from BMP Engineering Services. Mine is very simple. I'm looking at the training schedule, which starts tomorrow. However, you've not indicated the time when you are supposed to start or end for proper management. I think this is to Smart Compliance.
Okay, let's just take Mr. Roa here.
I'll answer that. We are starting the training tomorrow, and we shall be studying daily, 8 to 5. It's a face-to-face session, so we expect all the companies to have full representation because it's going to be really intense. Because we want at the end of it all, you go back and own the system. Yes, we are the consultants, but we want you guys to own the systems yourselves. So we want the training to be comprehensive and intense. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francis. Alexia has a question, an inquiry. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ogwal Alex from Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Mine is not a question, but I've been following the discussion. I see we have a lot of fears unknown. And I think smart compliance, you have a lot to do to unpackage and ease these organizations that are here to understand better what they are supposed to undertake. One big one is dealing with government or government entity like UNBS. It came clearly as a fear, but I would like to encourage us that we are not going to run away from government. Government will be there, and we are not going to run away from this country, whatever bad it is, but we should find ways of addressing issues that portray us negatively, like corruption. And how are we going to do it? I think we should understand that for us to address this, you must comply with the standards. And once you are complying with the standards, it is very difficult for somebody to ask for kitu kidogo from you. So I think let's try to follow the process to the dot. Even if now it comes to auditing, why am I asking it from you? When I've asked for this document, it is there. I've asked for these things, it is there. So I think let's try to encourage ourselves to adhere to standards, and we comply with all what is requirements are to avoid some of these. Then secondly, once such kind of things happen, there's a process of reporting. You should bring to the attention of the authority that you are dealing with. It is not the person that you are dealing with who is an ultimate authority in that organization. So please bring it so that we try to address, so that we portray government positively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gwal, for putting our hearts at rest. And of course, questioning us. I mean, there's no reason for you to be edgy when you have everything set. No one will ask for anything extra from you when you're self-compliant as well. Just on the online platform, there's a question from Eric Kamura, I think, Kamuru. Yes, is asking, I think this goes direct to smart compliance. If we have not paid commitment fees and we show up for the training, shan't we be thrown out? That is the question.
Thanks for that question. As one of the requirements for taking part in this project, we're expected to come up with a commitment fee to ensure that once people are on the project, they are settled. Lessons from previous projects has indicated some people just come onto such projects after hearing that it is free stuff. They just onboard the project, come 1-2 days, I don't like this, then you disappear, okay? So that commitment fee has been put there for that reason, to ensure that we maintain retention. If you have not come up with that fee, of course, we can understand we can understand, like some people have indicated, I'll come up with this on this date. Basically, what we're looking for is improvement we want to meet the project objectives. That commitment fee is there for that reason that I've just explained, okay? So once you have a reason and a date that you come up with that commitment fee, we are really ready to understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, just before you go, Alex, one more question. Will there be access for online training for other team members? This is still from Joseph online.
Thanks, Joseph, for that question. This launch, we had a minimum, a maximum number that we could have here for this day. That's why we requested for 1 participant per company. But for the training, it is going to be for the 2 participants for the organization. Okay, so training you have to attend in person, and the training is face to face. The training, as we have been communicating to you via email, the venue has already been communicated. That will be Eureka Palace, and we shall have 3 training rooms separate. That and the training will happen concurrently with social distancing. So there will not be virtual online training. It will be face-to-face training. Okay. Yeah. We only asked one representative to come here for the purpose of representation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. I believe we have gone through all the fears, all the inquiries, and we are, there's one more? Yes. Yes, please. Isaac with the microphone, please. There, right? Yes.
Thank you. My name is Isaac Ochungi, Systems Engineer from GTech Limited. My first question is to UNBS. What is the time period for me to get my certificate after a successful completion of stage 2 audit? And then, Vincent, you skipped out one question. It was about the internal auditors training. Will we part with the individual certificates for this training? Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Isaac. Just to talk about the certifications, every individual will participate in the training. We get a certificate of participation for their records and also for the company's certification process. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that question. Actually, we hadn't addressed it even during our presentation. But before I respond, I would like to thank Mr. Ogwal, right, who clearly put it out there that you shouldn't be worried about corruption. In any case, if you face such any issue, I will ask Smart Compliance to share my contacts with all of you so that you can let us know in case you face such an issue, but we don't expect it at all. Then secondly, I would like to inform the companies here that even during the audit process, once you find that you are not in agreement with the auditor's findings, there is a process for you to submit your complaint, and there is a process for you to inform us as the certification body that the auditors did not treat you professionally and they didn't treat you right. And then we are able to address that issue before the process goes on. So you shouldn't worry so much about the UNBS audit. It is as any other audit, and it's very simple, very calm. And we really try to put you at ease so that you are in your natural environment of operations. Of course, audits come with some pressure, but you shouldn't worry that you will not get your certification. Then in terms of the timeline, I would like to request Smart Compliance that if there are companies here that are already implementing ISO 9001 or environment management system or even energy management system that are at some level of implementation, I would really like to request Smart Compliance to separate the two such that those that are ready for certification don't necessarily have to wait for March. Submit them to us as early as February or even January. Whoever is ready, submit them to us. One thing we would like to assure you is that UNBS will try as much as possible to work within the project timelines. However, if a company is found not to meet requirements, we will still follow our procedure for certification. For the project, we will fast track the certification process. We will take it as a project. However, if the company has been found not to meet requirements, then we will have nothing much to do for you, but take you through our normal process of certification and timelines. So for this project, the certification will take you from a week to 2 weeks after the stage 2 audit to get your certificate. But normally we give 1 to 3 months for the certification process. Depending on the issues that have been raised during the audits, and depending on how the companies respond to the issues raised during the audits. But we don't expect any delays once stage 2 audit has been completed and there are no non-conformities raised from the audit. We don't expect any delays. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. This is interesting as it gets, but of course, as we draw close to the beginning of the new race of the very intense, more than 6 or so months of training. So at this point, I think we've done justice to the inquiries, we've done justice to what needs to be cross-checked. Christine, I would please welcome you to inform us from E4D. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Martin. Allow me to please take over my mask. So I'm Christine Senteza from the E4D project, that is Employment and Skills for Development in Africa. We are an employment promotion project, as my colleague Michael mentioned at the beginning. So we would like to really thank you all for coming today. Allow me to give a few closing remarks on behalf of our team leader, Mr. Donald Dakava. We appreciate that you have busy time schedules and that you are able to take out time to attend the launch for our ISO 45001 training and certification. It's really appreciated. We must admit that it was a rigorous selection process whereby we received over 150 applications, but through site visits, some of you, we were able to visit some of you to obtain or ascertain your commitment towards employment promotion, maybe taking up interns. We were really impressed that you were committed to such an objective. And this being the third phase of the ISO 45001 training, we want to do things a little bit differently. Remember, during the first phase, we are training individuals in NEBOSH, and only during the second phase, during the second training, were we able to certify 7 companies. This time, we are really looking at enterprise development and certifying 30 companies. We are confident that by the end of June 2022, all companies will be certified and will have begun a race and journey towards meeting the international certifications and systems that big multinational companies often require. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for making it here, our stakeholders from the Ministry of Gender, from UNO, from PAU, and from UNAPSEC and elsewhere. We thank you so much. We look forward to partnering you even more for our 14,001 training. Not forgetting smart compliance that has quickly gotten on board, and UNBS that you were able to quickly launch, start, and even that the training is already scheduled for tomorrow is impressive. We are happy that the choice was made with you and wish you a wonderful training. And for any inquiries, smart compliance shall be available, and we at E4D shall be keen and visit you time and again to look into our project objectives of employment promotion. So thank you so much. With that, I hand you over to our wonderful moderator for the day, Martin. And thank you once again. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you very much, Christine. You people are not appreciating your programs coordinator. Please, be generous with the hands. Thank you very much, Christine. So as we conclude, I would like to request our dear team, stakeholders, to have a group photo. Yeah, I think we can do that right down here in front of the podium. We shall leave our branding up here. So all our stakeholders, the E4D program, smart compliance, UNBS, the project lead consultant, let's have the representative from PAU, Uganda National Oil Company, Total Energies, our contractors, the Private Sector Foundation, yes, in the house, the Federation of Small and Medium Enterprises, Francis. So we shall take our photo down here. I think we can move there. Photography team, just position yourself somewhere. with the cameras there. And I'll join you there. You have a number of people who are down. Okay, you can take the team here, then they will join the rest here as the rest of the team comes in. Yes. Oh, I'm Guided, the Private Sector Foundation representative. You have a query? Please, let's locate you and bring the microphone to you. Francis, assist me with getting.
Thank you. I was just inquiring, is PSFU part of the training or it was just for the launch? Thank you.
Okay, I think yeah, you can take that one.
Yeah, thank you for the question. PSF is a stakeholder to this project, so we'll be engaging them in the first and second round table. But the training was meant for the companies that have been selected, and some of them are members of these associations. Yeah, so they'll be representing you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Vincent. Let's just be guided. Just before we have a very sumptuous meal prepared for us, courtesy of the organizers and your partners. Please, before you leave, make it a point to grab one of the coupons. They'll be brought to you, and lunch will be served at the restaurant here. I'll just guide you with the directions in just in a bit. So I think we're now ready for the photo moment. Yes, I think we shall have about 3 phases. One, the team here. Then I'll request you to come down so that you can be joined by the rest of the stakeholders, PSFU, PAU, the Total Energies, and everyone else. Then we shall have one general with the participants. Hopefully, yes. I think we can go on. Media team, you can do us some little bit of jazz as we enjoy our photo moment. Yes. We can have one with the masks on, then one we can do a little bit of some space and excuse our masks. Okay. Then our beautiful smiles can come out. Better. Of course, the music won't go into the photo, but it will, yeah, lighten up the mood. Very well done. So then we can, please allow me request the representatives, Miss Jessica, please join us. Joseph from the PAU, please join us. Miss Esther from the Private Sector Foundation, please join us. Francis from the FSME, please join us. I think Mr. Toa has left, yes. Please join us. Yes. We appreciate you for bringing together this very wonderful opportunity. So I think as we go for lunch, let's feel free to, the photo team, please. Let's have a general with all the participants, please, available. We have a number of you here, but feel free to, I think we should do it here as well. Can we all fit here? Is it sufficient enough? Standing up. Okay. Let's just do it here. But go through the. I think we can try to. We can try to fit. Please join in. as we get to enjoy our lunch. Please join in. Please join in. We'd like to see your joyous faces as we commence the next task for the next 6 months or so. So you can be ready to partake in the various opportunities, the various sector. Yes, we have a number of participants: Prestige Driving School, GTech, Engineering. Strapo Limited, Ken Lloyd Logistics, Mac Engineering. I hope you're all here. Strategic Builders, Lovington Limited, Achilles Limited. We can still occupy that space. Maybe us who are, those who are gifted in height, you can be a little at the back. Yes. I think I can join from where I am. I hope I'm very visible. Hopefully. Thank you very much. And congratulations again for making it this far. Our colleagues online, we shall do an e-selfie. Huh? You just stand on that camera, you make a smile so big and bright, and we shall do our screenshots. Media team, please get us to have that screenshot. Thank you very much, everyone. Please remember, there's a coupon right down with you. We shall have the lunch served at the restaurant. And just to add on, we have various representatives, and I believe most of you are registered in the National Supplier Database. Mr. Nyakairo is in the house, and Will can guide better on that. Remember to utilize the certification you're going to earn to make sure you're part of the, the teams that go for these opportunities. That certificate will get you to bidding and create the energy you need to partake in these opportunities. There are very many platforms that you can be able to utilize this. Various information flows will be coming to you from the National Supply Database, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, a very well-abled network for you to find out about these opportunities. We welcome you to take on the memberships so that you can be able to be in the know of which opportunities are existing in the industry. As we talked earlier about the oil and gas industry, it's very key to have these standards. There are various national supplier development forums, of course, that are going to happen for the Q4. And we shall be communicating to you onto various platforms, and you'll be able to, as well, get to understand where to utilize these certifications once you're able to acquire them. We thank you very much for the time you've taken. And now that we understand about the COVID scares and the security scares, but you've been brave enough to show up here, that will not go unappreciated. Please enjoy your lunch from Smart Compliance, the GIZ team, and the rest of us. We thank you very much, and we congratulate you upon making it this far. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.